Alright, so we're going to work on this drawing here now, which is just labeled hardware bracket. It's 3D-4. So there's a few things, few new things that I will show you. We'll take a look at the dimensions here. So on this particular drawing, what I chose to do, and you can do it multiple different ways, but I chose to draw the side profile and then extrude it out. So we're going to do that for this example here. So I'm going to go into new drawing, choose my metric template, and it's going to bring me to a blank canvas. I'm going to start with the 2D sketch. And because I'm starting the side profile, I'm going to start on this plane here. And I'm going to start drawing in my lines. So if you got the dimensions in front of you, I'm going to start with connecting a line to the origin point. And I'll zoom out here a little bit because this line is going to be 80 up vertically. And then I'm going to come over this way horizontally 25 and down, not exactly, oh, it's going to come down 50, 80 minus 30, and then 60 minus 25 is 35, and down I can polar track from the origin point and then back to the origin. So there is my L shape for my L-shaped bracket, and once I've got that, I can finish up my sketch. Now I'm going to provide it with some depth and go to the extrude. It automatically picks the only bounded area that I have. So I'm going to change my distance to it's 110. Now if I wanted it to be extruded the other way, I could totally do that by just clicking the direction button here, or I could have it extend out from the middle symmetrically. So I'll choose that option, flip the other way, and press OK. Now I could give that body a name. I could call it, rather than solid 1, I could call it bracket. Okay. So there's my bracket there, or at least part of it. I'm going to toggle over using the view cube. Oops. Over to this view here. So now what I want to do is I'm going to add in a couple of the details. So I'm going to add in first the little inset, this bit right here. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to start a new sketch. And it's going to prompt me to pick on the plane that I want to create my sketch on. In this case, it's going to be the surface. You see it turns green. I'm going to click on that. And now, once I start drawing, even if I drew over here, for example, just a couple lines, if I orbit around, you'll see that it's been created on that exact same plane as this face. So I'm just going to back up here. I don't want those lines. And so what I'm going to do instead, I'm going to create some lines coming down here. Just going to create a line down right there. Now you'll notice it's purple. I want to set a specific amount of distance from the end of it to that particular line. So in Inventor, that's no problem. You're going to go to the dimension tool. I'm going to click on that line and then this line. And then I want it to be exactly 35. So I guessed it somehow. Press enter. And now it's locked it into that dimension there. I'm going to create another line, just say it right there. And likewise, I want the distance between this first line and the second line to be 40. So I'm going to go to my dimension tool. It's at 38. I'm going to change that to 40. And now it's locked in an offset 40 millimeters. So that is all I have to do. I'm going to go finish sketch. Now if I go to extrude, oh, actually I lied. So this is a good example. I'm gotta go back and edit that sketch. So that was my second sketch. Again, I could give it a different name if I wanted, but I'm gonna right click on second sketch and go to edit. And I gotta provide it with a couple more lines here. So I'm gonna draw a line in there and a line in here. And now finish sketch. And that was now still part of sketch 2. This point I can go to extrude. And I'm gonna click this profile here. And by default it extends it out 110 millimeters, which was my last extrusion. Well, I don't want that. I'm gonna change it to 25. And I'm gonna flip the direction. And you'll see that automatically it's changed the output from a join, Boolean option to a cut. So whenever you're extruding into a particular object, by default it's gonna automatically know or assume that you want to cut through it. And I can change that. I could go back to join if I wanted to, change it to cut, change it to intersect, but cut is what I want for this application. And there we go. So orbit around here, it's starting to take shape. Now what I want to do is on the print here, we have chamfers on either corner. So it gives you an indication of what that chamfer is going to be. And it's a 45-degree chamfer, inset 3 units of measurement from the corner, from either corner. So that's going to be my distance from the corner, and 45 is obviously going to be my angle. So I'm going to go back to Inventor, and I have a chamfer tool here under modify. So I'm going to click on that. That's going to bring in this window. But I'm going to change it from distance to distance and angle. So I'm going to change my distance to 3, my angle to 45. And I'm going to click a face here, and then it prompts me to click an edge. So I'm going to click that edge and that edge. Press enter, and there I got my chamfers. Do the same thing on the other one. By default, my same settings are in. That edge, and there I got my chamfer there. Okay, while I'm at it, I'm going to add my fillets. So click on the fillet tool. Change my radius to, it's R6, so 6 millimeters. And click on that corner and that corner, and enter. And hopefully by now you're starting to realize like this again is a lot more, this program is a lot more beneficial for 3D modeling, a lot more quick and intuitive. Now I think the last thing we got to do is add the holes. So I kind of learned this the hard way, but the first thing you want to do before you create your holes is to add center points. So we do that in Sketch. So I want my holes to be on this face here, so I'm going to go to 2D Sketch, click on that face, and now I'm going to pick a point, this point command. I'm going to set my point command, a point here and a point here. Now, a lot of the time in Inventor, you're just going to throw in geometry and then change the dimensions after you've thrown it in. So I got my 2 points there. I'm going to now dimension them. So according to my drawing, I want this point to be 30 millimeters away from the edge, and go to dimension again, and I want it to be from the top 25. So it's going to move it into that particular dimension. Likewise the other one. So I'm still in dimension. So that's going to be 25 rather than 19. And from that side there, it's going to be 30. Okay, so I got my two center marks, and those are my points, and those are going to be required for creating the holes. So I finished my sketch, and now I'm going to go to the hole command up by fillet, and it's got all my previous information in there already. But what I want to explain to you quickly is under the print here, I have a few indicators of what the hole is going to look like, which you may have not seen before. So first of all, I have this leader pointing down to the hole, and it's got a diameter of 6, and it says through. So that means it's going to be a through hole, which is indicating this hole in the dead center here that goes all the way through my bracket. Or if we take a look at the hidden lines here through the side profile, it's going to be those two hidden lines there. Go all the way through, and they're got a diameter of 6. The second line, that stands for, this symbol here stands for a counter bore. And the purpose of that is, let's say you screwed this into a wall or something like that, it's going to provide space for the screw head to be inset into the bracket itself, so that the screw head doesn't stick out proud of the bracket. So that's called a counter bore, and that's what that symbol here means. And that counter bore is going to have a diameter of 12, and this symbol here indicates a depth, and that depth is going to be 5 millimeters into the bracket. So from that corner to that corner. Okay, so let's go back to Inventor, and how I selected that on here is because I got my two center marks there, it's going to assume that that's where I want my holes. So I can ignore that for now. My hole is going to be a through hole, which is this one, or a simple hole as they call it. And then the seat refers to the counter bore, or the counter sink in this case. So if I take a look down here, I got all my measurements laid out here. So my counter bore has a diameter of 12. That's what I want. My depth of the counter bore is 5. That was indicated on my drawing. And then the diameter of the through hole is 6. I can make adjustments to those if I want to, but that's obviously what I want. So I'm going to press OK. And that would then wrap up drawing 3D-4.